Hello everyone, Krydex here, and welcome back to pYanodon's Season 3. Oh, this is such an exciting stage of the game, revolutionizing our base for rails. I also realized, like, these power poles are a little much when you're copying it. Like, we really only need this. Like, these two are completely pointless. These ones need to be here for loaders and inserters and stuff, but those are unnecessary. This one needs to be here for the lamps, so I'm okay with that. But yeah, so I brought up the belt of tin and glass because we're gonna need glass for the whatchamacallit, and I thought this is a perfect opportunity for our first doodad. You know, doodads. That's the official name, right? So what I thought we would do, multi-provider is the word I'm looking for. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna switch over to multi-provider mode. And the way we do that, by the way, I think we just need and I should probably have this in the blueprint because it's easier to switch it from here and be like that than it is to create it in the first place. Because you can just control click this and turn on and off each bit mask, which is such a cool interface. I'm still a huge fan of that. Anyway, we need to set up this part, and that goes like this, and each of these is going to be controlled. Is this going to mess up with, like, providing to there? I don't think so. But basically, we don't want to load more than half of it with tin or more than half of it with glass. That's what we're getting at here. Wait, didn't I try that? Oh, no, it was this one. This is too far. That's what it was. So yeah, I actually want this down here. And then... Oh, that does make that a little uncomfortable. It should be okay like this, though. And then that one loads in there. And then we have these controlled based on the tin and lead amount, or tin and glass amount. And we've got, what, 72 slots, so 36 apiece. So tin, plate. Make sure it's the correct thing. It's less than 3,500. We'll just have a little bit of a free space in there. Glass, less than 3,500. And then we should be able to just filter left for glass, for example. Did I do that right? Yeah. And then that should work. So this will be our first multi-provider. I might regret this later because it's not tin. It won't be fast enough for the tin loading, but whatever. For now, it's fine. And then what? What am I doing? Now we need the... Did I do this in the... Yeah, we need this thing. I mean, this is really simple. Like, this is literally all it is. We just go boom, boom, read train contents, and then we have the output loader wired up to that output to set filters. I mean, that's literally all it is. I feel like this was harder in LTN. And I don't remember why. And then we need locked slots. I think 2 is plenty because this is never gonna have, you know, it'll overflow by like 8, maybe. I mean, 16 at the most can fit on 2 belts, but I don't even know if that many can, I don't know if it spawns the item at the very back of the belt. It might spawn it more towards the middle. So like, when this is filling up, these two together might only have like 10 items on them. So 2 locked slots is always going to be enough. What's reserved capacity per fluid wagon? Is that like locked slot? It might be. Anyway, there you go. There's our first multi-provider setup. That's all it is. And we'll call this tin, plate, and glass plate provider multi, PM. Maybe that's what M will stand for, multi. Because I had forgotten we needed glass for lamps. So anyway, that should do it for that. And now we can go over here and set up our first production block. I'm also gonna need personal trains, by the way. I'll have to figure out a good way to do that. Because I'm gonna want to ride trains around, right? So like I'm gonna want to like hop in a train, and it's not auto fueling. You guys will have to let me know, is there a way to get trains to auto fuel when I place them? But yeah, then I can just go around and be like, I want to go to here, and then I can do that. And then I need to actually get in the train. LOL. But yes, if I actually get in the train, then that will work. Maybe there's a... Oh, you know what? No, I got a mod, or I found a mod. Oh, no, I can't remember now. There's a mod that's like a mini train that does that for you. It's kind of like the Catch a Ride mod, but for trains. It's like this mod, where you can approach rails, and it will get you into a miniature train that you can then do that with. I'm probably going to get that mod. I forget exactly what it's called. Anyway, these are going to be our first requester stations. Congratulations. Congratulations to these stations. Stationlations. Okay, so yeah, first order of business is all of these combinators need to be on A1. But requesters are like this. And we don't need to do higher priority because the trashing stations will be at a lower priority by default. So these will basically be high priority requesters for byproducts, the way that we'll set this up. So byproducts will always go to main production first. So then this is going to be lamp ingredients requester. Lamp. How do I want to phrase this? Maybe ing R. Ings? Grids? I don't know. Lamp in R. There we go. Lamp in requester. And of course, requesters are almost always multi, but I'll call it R multi. How long is this naming convention gonna last? I do not know, but it's probably not gonna be that long. Anyway, lamps have... let's just make a basic lamp block here. I feel like I need... I'm starting to feel the need for a block that just I kind of do everything in. Like maybe I'll make this small parts one. Maybe this will be like a generic everything. Like we're just gonna have sub blocks, and they're all gonna be disconnected sub blocks. But it'll just be a way to stay organized rather than having every single thing I've ever made be its own line up here. I do want like metals to be their own lines, sciences, probably animals and plants can be their own line, things like batteries or circuits. But for just like, what if I just want to make some lamps kind of questions, I think I want that to be sub blocks in a bigger thing. Apparently there's a crazy lamp recipe later that requires advanced castings, but we're not there yet. So for now, lamps will be their own little block, and we'll say 2 lamps a second will be our goal, or maybe even 6. We'll see what that looks like. And at some point we'll switch to requesting copper cables directly. Even though it's less dense on trains, the stack size is twice as dense, so it's not that much worse. And Well, I guess in that sense, they're not less dense on trains. But anyway, I digress. This is everything we need. And then this is where we start asking ourselves the questions. Do I want to use these things? And I think the answer is no, because they're just huge. I would need 8 of those versus 4 or 5 of these. Like, that just feels so wrong. And then the fuel that we can burn. Let me see, what's our best biofuel right now? Is it logs? Can burn. Oh, we can burn canisters, but those have a byproduct too. Raw fiber is 6 megajoules, regular fiber is 8 megajoules, and stacks to 100. Cellulose is 5, but decays, so that's certainly not what we're going to use. And these all have ash as byproduct. Yeah. Oh, solid fuel has a vehicle bonus. Can you burn solid fuel in... Solid fuel is disabled. Never mind, that doesn't exist. I should turn off hidden for now. So weirdly enough, fiber is actually the play. And even trains can burn fiber. Like, obviously, it's not a good trade-off right now, because wood is 2 megajoules, so we're putting 20 megajoules into 12 megajoules. Like, that's not a good deal. But later we get stuff like kickout, where one kickout can make 30 megajoules worth of stuff. And kickout is like... Wait, what? Harvester? Kickout tree? What the hell? I don't know what that's about. All I know is kickout makes a lot of fiber. Oh my gosh, also the compost from kickout is nuts. Is there a way to turn biomass into anything that's like a good fuel? Again, it's probably easier to do this. That. There are a lot of recipes to make biomass. But it's only used in 130 recipes. But none of it is stuff you can burn. Other than coal. It's not like you can make, like, biomass bricks. Or anything. Yeah, so I think running trains on fiber is probably the... Or, maybe the final goal. Though, raw fiber might just be better, because... I mean, it's not that different. And the ratio's bad. And there's only the one way to make fiber. There's the bad way I have now, and then there's the ball mill way, and that's it. That's all that exists. So yeah, I guess fiber is just a little denser. If trains are coming to refuel too often, I could switch to fiber and take a little bit of an efficiency hit, but that's not gonna happen for a long time. Like a really long time. So for now, I'm thinking fiber will probably be the main thing I fuel trains with. After a little bit. Wood is going to be the thing I start with. Anyway, we're also going to fuel wood into our requester here. So let me craft a few of these guys. And this is really the whole doodad. And are these the same fuel price? Yeah, 150 kilowatts for twice the speed, so no problems there. It's also less pollution, 12 a minute for double the speed still, if pollution's something you care about, which I certainly don't. And there we go, let's pin this. Not that the numbers are that huge of a deal. We do have to consider them. Okay, so what are we gonna have to do here? We're gonna have to unload the trains into here. And because we need such a small amount of wood, I might do a lower threshold. This is where we start getting into some of the big questions of like, you know, what do I set these request amounts for? Like, how long is a train gonna take to go pick up something and bring it? How big do my buffers need to be? 100 seconds? 200 seconds? I don't really know. I so wish I could pipette the little buttons from there, but you can't. I guess weirdly I could do that and then click on that and then pipette it and then put it there. Surely that's not faster, but it is an option. It is technically an option. Okay, so let's just kind of build from the ground up here. So glass. Let's start with 200 seconds worth. So 1200, so we need 2400. Am I gonna have enough stacks for all this? So we have 24 glass, 15 makes 39, 6 makes 45, plus some wood. And we have 72 slots to work with. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay. So 2400. Is that gonna be our first train delivery? Is it gonna happen right now? Oh my god, it has no fuel, but it's happening! Because I never powered up those doodads. Hold on. I'm just gonna drive across the train tracks. Pretty soon that's not gonna be something I can afford to do without dying. But for now I can still do it. Apparently those never got connected. There we go, raw coal. And then that should fill into the trains, and why don't I just grab a little bit for this train. We'll set up clean burning fuel at some point, but for now this is fine. All right. So first glass delivery is coming. There's also an off button for this, I think. Yeah. If I want to start with it off, but I think it's fine. And then we're gonna do copper plate. Negative 1500. We're gonna do iron plate. Negative 1000. And then we're gonna do wood. Negative 400. And then to do... Yeah, I'm gonna need blueprints for a lot of these things. We're out of something here. But this is the station control. And this one is the one where we can set specific filters on, like... because that's below the threshold. So if I want wood to be a smaller threshold, I would set that to 400. And then that should, yep, create the request threshold for wood. Sweet. Now, what I could do is I could parameterize a requester blueprint like this. Such that each item has its own threshold request as well. So we could set the total amount. Ooh, I could set the threshold to be like some percentage of the amount. Well, that sounds juicy. Like when we get to like 90% empty, that's the request threshold. The problem with that is if we request more than one train full, then that's going to be a problem. So I'd have to do max of, and then the train content size, or minimum of, the smaller. But we could totally do that. So that's, I'll probably go a little bit further, just kind of manually working on these. We definitely need faster unloading. I'm going to need a lot of loaders. That's going to be an expensive part of the train network. But it's just not particularly fast. And we're not providing wood yet. Don't worry, I've considered that. Yeah, we don't need another station, so let's get rid of all this. But I might... Oh god, that scared me. I was like, are those gonna run into each other? But no, they're fine. They're fine. Oh my gosh, we have trains unloading into stations. It's glorious. Oh yeah, we did run out of trains. That's fair. Okay, anyway, all right, so we need... I mean, I'm gonna build this down here. It's a tiny build. And I'll leave space for it to be expanded, but... we do need another station. It just needs to be a little bit further away. So this will be this station. Okay. So that'll go there. These will be the inputs, and then this will be the provider station for the lamps. So we'll have 2 belts coming in. 1 belt will be wood. And, well, 1 belt will need to just be pure copper for these. And these aren't even fast enough, are they? Yeah, so we'll need loaders for the copper. Yeah, for a second. So maybe we'll have the copper come down. That's the copper. And then that gets loaded in very quickly. Total of 24 a second. Like that. And then these need 3 more inputs, which is copper, glass, iron, and 4 inputs. Copper, glass, iron, wood. We should put the wood with the iron. And I'm thinking that could go something like this. And 2 sideways inserters would be enough for it. Like that. So that'd be wood and iron. And then the other ones, the copper and glass, need to be pretty fast. So those would go onto loaders. Let's see, so we need a loader out for copper. We need a loader out for iron and wood, and we need a loader out for glass. Okay. You are copper. You are glass. And you are iron. And wood, which I don't have yet. And then, yeah, and then that'll go over there. We need some of it down here. And then this one, come down. Iron and wood gets loaded into the, we're not loading wood into these. Crap, I meant to. I guess we can bring wood over like this. Okay, so there's wood. And then I'm gonna put some wood in here manually to get it all kick-started. Okay, and then glass comes down. And that meets with, we have 6 and 12. So we're gonna have to do, I don't know the right place to put it, but we're gonna have to do something like this. Because we need 2 half belts, which would be 6 and 3 each. So that should work. If I do this, that, there's glass, there's copper. Okay, so that's done. Ah, no, the output. The output of this one is gonna be, well, no, it'll be fine. Maybe. Yeah, it'll be fine. Because we can do that. So, lamp, lamp. Okay, perfect. So that's done, that's done. This does do what I originally had it doing. Get power connected to that. Get power connected to these. Get power connected to all these loaders. And get power connected to everything. And there we go. There are lamps. Heckin' lot of lamps. Our first, what do you call this? City block? I mean, it's not really city block, but our first train-based production block. And now we bring those up and over. And now we need to copy a provider section. Provider looks like this. But it doesn't rotate. Right. Yeah, I'm gonna need some more blueprints for sure. And I think the first thing I want to do is fix, oh gosh, train out of fuel. Great news. I think the first thing I want to do in terms of actually changing blueprints is fix this one. I think I want to shift these all by 2 so that I can use loaders. If I want to use inserters, I can still use long inserters. And if I really don't care about the rate, I can scooch it forward and use mechanical inserters. The next thing I'm going to do, I think if I hook that up to there, it will stay hooked up when I merge. Yes. What? Okay, well that's good news. You cannot undo merging. I have just now discovered. Okay, so we're going to move that away by 1. And then we are going to hook these up. So that saves a step there. And we're going to set to A1. And then, so that kind of fixes a couple things. already. And then I'm going to, well, okay, yeah, for now we'll just do that. And then I want the, so what is this doing? This is for requesting? I guess this is for requesting. I also don't care about any of this anymore. I'll leave the rest of this here in case I want to make new stuff, but so yeah, I'll want to make one blueprint that's basically for the provider stuff, the multi-provider. But for a regular provider, we don't have to do anything else, right? I don't think so. We just have to change it to... Oh, you know what? I want this to be 3 by default. Because I want it to request from regular and byproduct. Yeah, okay. So if a default station is a requester station, we want it to look like mask 3, bitmask 3. So this is my new version. Okay. Okay, so going back to here, I probably want to have just this part copied somewhere in here. Just the station part rather than the Rails part. I'll leave in the signals though, I kind of like that. But this is just basic requester station. And then I can maybe make the same thing for basic provide. So now I can just kind of plop this where it needs to go, which is right here. And then I can moij. Boom. Cybernetic combinator should get built eventually. And inactivity condition only matters for multi-provider, which this is. So I screwed this up. That needs to have inactivity condition turned on. Otherwise it will only request. Yeah, you can see here that's actually bad. What if something comes to request 10 now? So that's gonna get screwed over. But yeah, this one is just a single provider. So I can do regular. Oh, I'm in map view. That's why things are being built by bots. Okay. So many little things. Lamp ingredients. Requester multi. Lamp. Provider. And you can see why multi-providers are going to be so useful, because I'm probably going to make something else in this block. And so this is probably going to end up being a multi-provider rather than just a lamp provider. Because we're not going to need, you know, 7,000 lamps. And for multi-providers, you can easily do this. And boom, now you've got more slots to provide multiple things. So at least for now, I'm gonna be just the one chest, but it's easy to expand. So setting up a multi-provider station is pretty handy. So this is gonna be lamp P, and I'll just do PM. We'll change the name when we add more products into this. For now, the locked slots will just start at 2. And bitmask goes to 1. Activity conditions on, and we need this guy here. We connect the output of that, and we do read train contents. So then this is what we want to copy, but without this being merged. So this is a provider station. And we don't copy the train stop name. And this is basic provider station. Okay, and I want the icon on this to be train stop, and I want in. And this icon is going to be train stop. Oop. Train stop out. I didn't do this right. I forgot to connect one thing. Is that I need to be on set filters. Okay. New contents. Did I do the right one? Basic provider? Yeah. Power poles are going to be a little annoying. I guess I'll have them there to start because that's where they're usually going to be in my blueprinted version. The power poles are on the corner of the chest when things are tight together. Problem is when things aren't tight together, it's not going to look like that. But at least to start, that's probably the best way to do it. Okay, so that's a good baseline for a provider station. Of a multi-provider station, I should say. Maybe I'll make a different one for the non-multi-provider. And that has inactivity conditions selected. I don't need station control. The locked slots matter, but the request threshold really doesn't, so that's not doing anything. And I think a default request threshold of 1,000 is actually about where I want to be for now. It's possible that that changes, but... Oh, I did forget to have... power pole. Okay. Boom. So there's our provider, and then we can merge that. And then lamps can come up and get loaded in. And then this will just be a simple stop when... Uh-oh. Is this a problem? I don't think so. When lamp is less than 2,000. One full train, I'm gonna say, is enough. Oh, they only stack to 50. Yeah, so 2,000 is 40 stacks. That's actually more stacks than we want. Let's go with like 30 stacks. All right, there you go. I mean, we are freaking set up. We got trains rolling. We got lamps flowing in to our train system now. We open our manager, we can see that lamps are being provided. You can see our beautiful inventory of stuff. There, glass is in transit. It's beautiful. Trains are fast too, look at those things. And now it is waiting for inactivity, so it should finish loading the glass this time. And for what it's worth, if you highlight these, you can see they only hold 4 at once. So both of these together should only hold 8 glass. So it should end up with about 8 more glass than it wants. So if it wanted 1001 glass, it will probably end up with 1009 glass. Alright, let's see what happens here. And then I kind of want to watch this menu actually to see. It says 1001 in transit, but it's going to be more than that. Like, does it know the actual number, or does it just go off the number it asked for? It does just go off the number it asked for. So we'll get slightly more than we think we have when it gets there. So that's why you don't want huge differences, is because that will end up with bigger buffers, or if you're really unlucky, it'll end up with buffers that get overflowed if you're not careful. Because when you're requesting something from a multi-provider, you might end up getting 1 more stack than you asked for, or maybe 2 more stacks if the stack size is really small. So you just want to consider that when you're thinking about like total stacks that you've requested into a container. Yeah. And we should see a copper train coming soon. There it is. Wow, this is exciting. This is very exciting. Now more iron's coming. Well, our base is going to be completely out of resources, but we're going to have enough lamps. So there you go. There you go. Oh my goodness. This is great. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, let's get that other train configured so we can have 3 trains running. I'm guessing we're only going to need like 4 to 6 trains for quite a while. Because it looks like we need a lot right now, but that's going to buffer, and it's not going to run very often once it's buffered. So this is the season of spending a lot of money on buffers. Oh, I was going to do a fluids depot. That's what this one was for. Right. Okay. I do want another solids, though. Should I do that on a different section? Nah, maybe later. For organization, we could switch that up later, but for now, it's kind of nice to have these all in line. So I just need to copy, like, this. To here. And then I need to copy all this part. There, and there, and there. And then I need to copy all this part. Here and here. And then those are solids depot already, so that's good. And then let's go see if we have a ye old fluid wagon or not. Hey, and look, logistics systems almost finished researching. Fluid wagon still not done. Oh, because I screwed up. Screwed up big time. We never put those into there. That'll do a fluid wagon for us. Boop. Perfect. And what am I missing? Is it circuits or iron? Almost both, but mainly circuits for right now. A lot that I can't craft. And like, why can't I craft those? Yeah, circuits. Okay. I'll pick up some circuits. Am I good on IMs while I'm here? No, I literally had no intermetallics in my inventory at all. Okay, well that's good. I checked on that. Steel is still empty. Iron is actually sort of empty. That kind of makes sense because I just am sending a bunch of iron into the buffer for lamps. Well, it's not the buffer for lamps. It's the buffer for sending iron to the rest of the base. And there is also a buffer for lamps, and I'm making a bunch of lamps, which are also buffered. So yeah, trains are gonna make a lot of these costly initial setups. Good news is it takes us a little while to set these things up. During that time, everything continues buffering. So it does kind of work itself out. Eventually. Alright, you have a fluid wagon. And then we can chuck a couple pieces of coal into you, and you go to station fluids depot. And that one... yeah. They're all set the same way, which is correct. And it looks like I was missing an underground. Sweet. What's that? I guess it just doesn't have a combinator yet? Not connected to rail. Oh, you will be, don't you worry. What is this? That was my mistake, I guess. That's what that was. Oh, this is great. This is just great. Now, what's going on up here? Getting loaded up with more glass, and... yeah, I probably made the buffers too big, to be honest. Given that I don't even really need lamps right now, I probably should have gone a little bit more conservative. We just spent a lot of glass. My glass production cannot handle this. Oh, goodness. That's funny. But hey, we're doing it. This is pyanodon's. It's gonna feel so good to have stuff running around on trains. Oh, Tim. Tim and friends is very much not happy with me. Come on, guys. I'll let you come home. And there's Sally. We named Tim back in the Freight Forwarding Factorio 2 season, because sometimes I would leave construction bots behind on a completely different island, and they would slowly work their way across. Or wait, no, am I making that up? Maybe we named Tim in the Space Age playthrough. If anyone remembers where Tim originated, let me know, but I can't remember if it was Freight Forwarding Factorio or if it was Space Age. But Tim is the bot that gets left behind, poor guy. But yeah, I mean, we're doing it. Like, and I think we're just gonna kind of use niobium as the backbone of like forcing us to add things into the rail network. So it's gonna take forever because I'm gonna have to add a bunch of extra stuff. But like I'm going to have to deal with sand, gravel, and stone byproducts in the rail network as part of the niobium chain. And so like I'm kind of gonna just use this as my to-do list, essentially, even though it's arbitrary. But it's like, yeah, we'll just add stuff in as we need it. Like, we're gonna need to deal with bone meal. So I'm gonna have to deal with slaughterhouse junk soon into the train network. Now that is kind of a can of worms because of spoilage. So that one may look slightly different. But like the other ones, like olefins, you know, we'll have to put olefins into the rail network, and then we'll put syngas into the rail network, and then we'll have to do activated carbon, which really means we're going to need to figure out coal, zinc, sodium hydroxide, and nitrogen into the rail network. So we're going to do all of that, and it's going to be awesome. I love this. I love this so much. I'm very happy. And there may be some areas where I will... Like you can see right here, this is gonna go straight over a bitumen seep. So there may be times where I will manually do a squiggly rail around something. The problem with that is it will mess up future, if I wanted future depots over here, right? So like I would just need to make sure to never put a depot there, because that's not gonna work. I could still put one here, but if I do a squiggly there, that means we can't do anything else. But yeah, you can see the power of this system where like I can add depots as I want. So I almost don't even know if I need this straight rail here, because I could have just gone... You know what? I might actually undo that. I'm just gonna undo that. Because what I'll probably do here, which means I need to turn these into T-junctions. I think the safest thing to do... But yeah, here's my thought. Okay, sorry, this is gonna be a little messy. I'm gonna deconstruct it, and then I'm going to put a three-way over it. I think that's the cleanest way to just make sure it's a three-way junction. So deconstruct all this, and then put a three-way junction on top. Okay, so anyway, what I'm thinking is we'll just do another straight, and then we'll connect on that end. And then I have a 2x1. And the reason a 2x1 is not a problem is I can just add, I could add two different sections of depot. I could add depots there, or stations, there or there. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't really have to worry about being in a 2x1 section because of how I did the stations. And then I can even add one over here, you know, on that straight piece between the two intersections on that corner. So having a 2x1 feels really good, given I can't afford a ton of rails right now anyway. So, sweet. Okay, well, let's add a couple more bots into the system. It looks like our research has really slowed down. Or is it just that this research is slower for some reason? No, it's just really slowed down. Copper's really slowed down too. I'm gonna add 20 more pYanobots into the network. Should help a bit. How many do I have, by the way? I have 58. Let's make that an even 60. There we go. 60 pYanobots. Take one down and pass it around. Oh, I'm so happy. This is awesome. Improve copper production. Needs to be on my list. Because I don't even have... Oh wait, actually no, I do. Yeah, I forgot I did this. It's just still not that much copper. I might need to go to 2 belts of copper, or I need to go to molten copper, which we should now have unlocked. Copper 2. Or I guess I can unlock it now. Let me shift that forward a bit. Yeah, borax and sand casting. We've got all that jazz, so that should be pretty easy. I'm digging it. I am digging it. Yeah, spoilable stuff is going to be interesting. How we'll deal with spoilage on trains and whatnot. We may just have to let things spoil in warehouses. I don't even know. I don't even know how we're going to do it. Obviously, where we can, we'll want to make builds where all the spoilage that could happen happens internally, but like native flora, that's gonna have to go on trains, and it'll get shipped around, and it'll spoil at its destination sometimes because we're not using it for a minute. So things like native flora are a bit trickier. Now, there is the option where I try to build things that need native flora near native flora, but it's not everywhere. You know, there are patches here and there, but it's not like, I don't know, that's not quite as easy as it sounds. Huh. Yeah, that'll be a big kind of problem that we'll have to keep solving as we go. But anyway, we're gonna call that an episode. As always, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll see you all in the next episode.